your girl, Princey with the Real from 2HotRadio. And y'all already know I don't do no small talk. We about to go ahead and jump on into this interview. I'm all about letting my guests introduce themselves. So let the people know who you are, where you from, and how they can find you.
What is up, everybody? Big shout out to Hot and you, Princess, for having me on this. My name is Doomtrax. Everybody knows me around here as Doom. I'm out of Denver, Colorado. I am a engineer, a music producer, and an artist. So I have an album that's been out for about a year now. We got album number 2 coming. So I'm on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, Amazon, etc. And
look, Instagram. I want to go ahead and jump into the story. I like to go, from the back, end of it. When you first started getting into your career as an artist, where did you start at? Because I know you didn't just jump out the gate and say, hey, I just want to be a rapper. How did you start it?
Right. And really going all the way back, I was a music man. So I did car stereo. I was a salesperson and an installer, a technician, and I got really into the sound part of that. So I worked for like Circuit City back in the day. I was doing like stereo installs, and then I got into doing competitions. So I was actually a judge for audio competitions. Like this is like about 15 years ago. So I was in that industry for a long time, and working with actually shaping sound and equalizers and all that equipment really turned me on to getting into beat making. So I started this whole thing as a producer. COVID happened, beginning in 2020. COVID happened and the whole shutdown thing, and my boy Astro Blitz started a little Twitch show about beat making, and he was showing FL Studio. He was showing him making beats live, and as we said in that first interview, I was like, I can do this. So I really got into buying the equipment. You'll see my studio set up later, all the equipment, microphone, and everything. And then before you know it, I had friends coming over as artists to start recording.
So when you say COVID happened, you started and you did it for years, and then all of a sudden you switched the game up. What was that like? Like, what was that moment that made you say, okay, I need to, make this change?
I was, as far as becoming a rapper from a producer,
mm-hmm.
I was asked to be on a microphone and to rap. So I was straight up. I was in a Discord server, a little like party chat. People were sipping Friday night type of thing. And I got on the microphone and spit like Eminem, like old school Eminem, real fast, hard stuff. And there was like 30 people in this chat. And one of them is a producer in Massachusetts. His name is Kid Eskimo. So fast forward, this is the guy that actually produced my whole first album. And as soon as the chat hung up, everybody was like, yo, that was dope. And I'd never like spit in front of a crowd like that before. And the funny thing, it was online. And he called me right after it ended. And he was like, yo, I got this guy on Twitch. He's a pretty big streamer. And he wants a theme song. He's like, he wants somebody to rap on it and make it all about him and the game he plays. And so we made a Call of Duty theme song. He asked me to rap. And that was the first thing I ever did as an artist. So I was here making beats and putting them out to local people and stuff like that. And so I was kind of called to do it. And then fast forward 9 months later, we put out an 8-track album.
Okay, but before you were called to do it, were you rapping? I know you say you was working with the beats and engineering.
I mean, every day since I was a kid in the car type of thing. Yeah. I mean, I've always spit to friends and stuff like that. And everybody's told me I'm the rap guru, the encyclopedia of words. You know what I'm saying? I know every lyric to every rap song I ever listened to. You know what I'm saying? That stuff really sticks with me. So I was always a dude in the car entertaining people with that.
Okay. So it went way back. You wasn't necessarily writing your own rhymes back then, but you was rapping all the time. So you already had it in you.
Right. And I never went down the path of freestyling and writing until I built a studio in my place. And then I was like, all right, this needs to change. I want to put out some tracks. So.
Okay. So you were inspired because you were called on to rap.
By an online community. Yeah. So I got 2,000 followers on Twitch right now. So most of those people are, interact with me on a daily basis. We have Discord channels. People can subscribe to me if you want to support, by the way. And those people really drove me to continue to be Doomtrax and put out these songs. And now we're really getting comfortable with it.
And now, so you're putting out your music and clearly you're happy with what you're doing and everything. But I do know it's much more than just music for you. So just talk to me a little bit about, all the facets into the business of Doom.
Right. Right. So, and this really turned into everything. I became obsessed with the branding, and that kind of started from Twitch as well. So they kind of force you as a content creator to brand yourself and to gain subscribers and things like that. So they kind of trained me to do that in the beginning, and that really exploded into what you see behind me and the shirt I'm wearing and everything, and all the merch and the branding that we have now. And so Doomtrax started out as an online producer and then a single album, self represented rapper, and then now fast forward to the show in Phoenix. We have a full blown record label. We have artists tapping in with us. I'm actually signing 3 local artists by the end of the month. One of them I can say is K9 to Capital. We're going to be putting out an album with him called Rising Star in the next couple of months. So we actually have about half the tracks done for that already. So I switched from just making random beats, in my living room type of thing, to really doing custom things with artists, specific type beats for artists to have certain type of flows and vibes. So we went from kind of just having people over and getting used to being an engineer to now we're doing full blown projects. So aside from my music coming out, that's really exciting to be able to give them a platform to put out like full projects instead of just random YouTube beats and things like that.
So, I hear a lot of, business talk, and I hear a lot of, elevating. But, one thing that a lot of people don't speak on, which I like, to hear about, is how did you make it happen financially, to continue to elevate the way that you're elevating in career?
Hard work and a really good and dedicated business partner. Big shout out to my business partner, Alex. So you met him at the show as well. He was the guy doing all the still photos. So he actually took most of the stage photos. Big shout out to him on the image credit. I did a lot of the video coverage, Astro Blitz as well. But yeah, no, my partner and I really came together, and we all got to work for a living right now, right? So all that extra time and effort and money and extra coin that we both have, we really just put into this thing.
And it's always good to know like where it came from, because other people listen to people's stories and they're like, oh, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But it took money, it took time, and with that, when it comes to family and doing other things, do you feel like the business, you were able to balance everything? Do you feel like other things may have fell by the wayside because you were focused on the business? Speak on that a little bit.
I feel like having a partner and having the right business partner is really what's keeping us both going forward. So not only do we have business discussions literally every day, but we're also the ones that call each other for that sanity check, how you doing type of thing, just to get them away from their, our daily problems. And we really balance each other out. You said the word balance. Like I'm obviously obsessed with the branding. I'm surrounded by it. We have cameras here. We have musical equipment. I have a microphone, all where I sleep and wake up. So that's really my half of the business. His half is what made us a business, and the back end and the financial aspect. He's actually a financial advisor for a Fortune 200 company. So a lot of education on that part is important. So if you are starting out a business, like you said, what to say to other folks starting out is, go seek some financial education as well, because that's something that he really brought to the table. Noticed all the branding that I was doing and said, hey, we need to make a business together. And now we kind of have that balance with each other.
And now how do you balance that with your day-to-day life? I know you say y'all do your checking and stuff like that, but what about your day-to-day life as a person?
At my regular job, I do my job. Everything that I do is 100%, obviously, and you have to do that to really get to this level. So while I'm at my day-to-day job, the focus is doing the best I can while I'm there and earning that extra coin to put into my business. And when I'm not there, I'm here. I wake up at 4 a.m. sometimes and go, man, I got to remaster this song for release because it's coming. So those odd daylight hours for a business owner and an entrepreneur is definitely in full effect. And literally, if I'm not here, I'm doing music. I'm either at a show covering one of the artists that we're going to be releasing with video coverage, tapping in with you guys about shows, making beats. This is definitely my life outside of work.
Okay. So now when it comes to this being your life, is this the fun part of your life? Is it so fun that it doesn't feel like work? Or do you get stressed out sometimes? Like, okay, it's too much.
little bit of both. A little bit of both. No, and the stress is good. So the stress recently, like the stress in the beginning was I really want to do something more than put some beats on SoundCloud. I want to make a brand and an artist of myself. And that was the frustration in the beginning, like figuring that out. Now the frustration is not really frustration. It's figuring out who I want to work with or who we want to work with as a brand, because we're tapped in with everybody. I mean, virtually every local hip hop and rap artist, R&B, we've met in some sort of facet in Denver. And are really blessed to be working with everybody. So now we're like, I'm kind of fine tuning what we're doing and who we're working with. So it's a little frustrating and it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, how do you fine tune and, come up with, okay, who are the right people to do business with? Because, everybody feel like they deserve their shot, but you also want to make sure that you're representing your brand the way you want your brand represented. So, how do you go about that?
Both. And what you said about being their shot is a really, big shout out to us. And in some ways, some of these artists will be our shot, to extremely grow our brand. So, and that was kind of the purpose of doing a record label, is that what better way to get our music out and our beats out on platforms other than signing artists, right? So, in choosing the right artist to work with is the artist that really brought professionalism and some business conversation to the table. And one of them sat in here while I was on a live show making a beat, and he started freaking out. He was like, "You don't know what you have here. You have a whole label." And I'm like, "Yes, I do. This was the plan the whole time." So the ones that really, started showing a lot of respect versus coming in just for studio time. And then I had a few approach me, and it was like, "Look, we've been around town. We've been to all the studios. We've seen all the engineers, and we really want to work with you." So that was a big part of it too, is a lot of respect.
Okay, so here's my next question. With you being an artist, launching your artist career and trying to launch other artist careers, like, do you ever have that moment when you feel like, okay, am I putting these other artists before my own music? Or, how do you maintain that aspect of it?
That I try to, and without spreading myself too thin, is try to spread all that stuff out. So it's like, I ask each artist for patience right now, because we're also working on my album. I'm performing. I'm opening for EBK Young Jock on March 17th, the 17th of this month. So we got a show to prepare for. We got video coverage we're doing. So there's a lot going on. So I try to spread it out per day. It's like, okay, Monday night, I'm going to do this. Tuesday night, I'm going to work on this artist. All weekend, I'm going to work on, we have 2 music videos in progress. Shout out GR Forever East and Rado Baby. They were gold performers at the show. We actually shot 2 music videos, one for each of them while we were in Phoenix, prior to the 2HotRadio show. So I'm in edit for those things right now. So yeah, we got a lot going on, but I have a really awesome team in addition to all that. So in addition to time management, my team is extremely dedicated, and they tap in with me every single day, every single morning. I get a good morning and what's the plan? What are we doing? So a lot of respect on that end too.
And so that's always good, having a good team behind you, because that's one thing I love about 2HotRadio is that it's like family. You can call on your team, when there's something needed. But for you, being a businessman, an artist, and also discovering and helping other artists to advance in their career while you're advancing at the same time, I know that's a lot of pressure, because it's like, okay, do you ever have that moment when you think and be like, oh my gosh, this artist is getting bigger than me on my own label?
And that might happen very soon, right? So we're going to be doing, I'm putting out 3 single EPs for 3 separate artists. 2 of them I can't say who they are yet. One is K9 to Capital. We're really excited to have him. And that's going to be fun, because we're going to be dropping them within like a month of each other. So let the races begin, kind of thing, right? Yeah, no. Up until this point, not really. We've really been just putting our heads down and working so hard on our brand. And the Phoenix show was a big part of that. It's like for months we prepared for that. And I mean, you can definitely tell by the presence we brought that we were as prepared as I felt we could be, and I felt like it went really well. So big shout out to you guys, definitely, for having us. And
yeah, y'all came through and y'all showed out. Y'all really had a crowd around. And honestly, when it comes to having, different people coming into our events, we love to have people coming in that we can see people can resonate with. People like walking up to you. People like taking pictures.
Yeah.
Like that's things that people love.
Absolutely.
And the energy, like the energy from your entire team was awesome. Like
I appreciate that, definitely.
So that's
you
always
take
great.
A good photo of somebody and you got to show them real quick, you know what I'm
yes.
saying? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So and that's really what we showed ourselves that at that show, and that's what we really got out of our brand, and what we want to grow even more is the excitement we gave artists by being there. We didn't know we were going to do that when we showed up. We were like, okay, we're a vendor. This was my booking agent's idea. Shout out Ashley, to get this like Hollywood style banner. You need something for the artist to take pictures in front of, and then boom, that was like one of the most fun things for them at the show outside of being on stage.
Yes. And that's always great to have. So when we have vendors like you guys come in and give our artists that experience, it's not just we're benefiting from it, you benefit as well, because now you're growing your brand.
Big time.
So a lot of people don't see, when it comes to, being a vendor, when it comes to going out to other people's events, especially as business people, they're like, oh, I can do my own stuff. But there's always value in, taking those opportunities. So just speak on, not just the Arizona showcase, but, the other times where you put it all out there for your brand to grow the brand without, looking for anything in return.
And we started doing local events here in Colorado. I mean, we've done multiple events, not only that I performed at, but as a camera team and as a media coverage. I started showing up to real small shows, down on Colfax type of thing, just with my camera, and started putting watermarks on them and just posting them online. And boom, now this turned into actually doing events and being asked, to provide media coverage. And that's the excitement we've given at every place we've gone to. And that's really what I'm fortunate to say about our brand, is that like we give excitement to artists everywhere we go. And the multiple events that we've done here that we've left, like every curator of that event has called me afterward and been like, we need you for the next one. So that's a big, big shout out to everybody that's working with us. We're happy to really provide that excitement at the show. And that's what's going to make us grow, period.
And I like how you say you guys go out to the events and you're just doing it on your own. You're not going out there and saying, hey, give me this opportunity, pay me for this. And then you get that call back with that opportunity. A lot of people only go out when the opportunity is already there and they already got the money coming in, but you're taking a chance for your brand. Speak on that a little bit.
That was really the planning of my partner and I. Once again, I mean, we put months of planning. We put a lot of money into going to Phoenix and being in co-branding with 2HotRadio. So this is a big opportunity for us to expand outside of the state of Colorado and really take this on a national level. Now I got the cell phone numbers of artists all over the country. We got people tapping in with us left and right. So we should even do a thing where, the artists that have interacted with us because of your show, we could do like a, co-interview and things like that, because a lot of excitement and growing of our brand just from being there with you guys.
And that's always good for other people to hear as well, not just for, hey, come be a part of what 2HotRadio has, but taking a chance on your brand and going and seizing a moment, not knowing what's going to come out of it, because it could turn into something great.
No, and that's a big business motto is you're in a growth stage of your business. When you're first starting out, you have to put an endless amount of time into it, and you have to put some finances into it as well, and invest in your brand. And that's what we really felt like the plan was prior to going to the show, and it really showed out by the time we got there. So big shout out to my whole team again.
Yeah, y'all killed it. Now, I've talked a lot about the team. I've talked a lot about the business, and I want to get more back on to you as an artist. I know you say you have some new projects coming out and stuff. Now, what is your inspiration behind your music?
Originally, I started doing theme songs. So like I said, that my producer called me and he was like, hey, we want to do this theme song for this online gamer. So then I started doing movie theme songs. I did a song called Frank Castle, about the Punisher, and it blew up with family and friends. Like it's a local, my core fan base favorite. And so I really started out, that was kind of like my comfort zone as a rapper. And then people, the more artists I had over here, the more people I started working with. They're like, you got to step outside of your box. And you know what? I started working with more and more people. So at this point, I've had 30 local artists in my studio and all ranges of talent. So I've been really blessed to be liked that much as a producer and as an engineer, that they really like my sound quality, that, hey, I want to come back. So weekend after weekend, I started working with guys and girls from all around Denver, and they really started pushing me, you know, to become a better rapper and more comfortable and step outside of my comfort zone, start telling some stories. So I actually got 2 new songs releasing. One is with Tay 4. That's going to be dropping in a few weeks. We're going to be making the announcement actually this weekend. And then the first single off of my next album, Last Rites, with S&M Capo. So big shout out, Say No More, record label as well, and Fresh Film. So he puts on a lot of big shows around here. So definitely tap in with those guys. But I got a single dropping with him on March 17th, and we're performing it on St. Patty's Day at the Roxy Theater. So that's going to be the first day you hear the track. We're going to be performing live, and it's dropping on all platforms.
Oh wow! Okay, look,
we're gonna have a big night. Yeah, we're gonna have a big
working, not just for your career, but everybody else's careers too. And I, you know, I have to, you know, salute you for showing love to all of your people during your interview about you. Like, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take that moment to show love to everybody else and give shout outs to everybody else. So that's appreciated, because that helps them to grow their business as well. You know, a lot of people don't realize, when it comes to working with other people, it's good to shout yourself out. It's good to let people know what you have going, but you get even further when you spread it around.
I'd rather have other people doing that about me. Right. Yes. Right. And honestly, and on that note, is I've gotten that compliment from many people that we've worked with, is showing some selflessness, you know, show up with that camera, show some love, and then all of a sudden my calendar is getting filled up. So and that is a big part of the music industry. And you know, being an artist is about being a little selfish and about being yourself, because you're telling your story, right? So to be selfish in that respect, in your image respect, and be selfless in how you do things is a tricky balance, right?
And a lot of people can't balance that. A lot of people don't do that very well, because it's more so of, okay, I got to get myself there first. Then I can worry about y'all once I get there. So that's why I say with your story, it's a little different, because you're an artist breaking other artists.
And those artists and my fan base, which are mostly artists, really drive me to be a better artist. So it's like that. I think that's the cause of that, is that most of the people that are fans of Doomtrax in the very beginning are working music. So I'm kind of forced to give that love back, right?
And the fact that you are also saying, you know, you kind of grow too with doing business with so many artists and stuff, and getting feedback from them. So that's always good that you listen to the feedback. Now, was there ever a time when someone gave you some feedback when it came to your music and you was like, nah, you totally left field with that one?
Oh, always. I think every artist is going to get that. I played a song for somebody in here, and their sister was on the couch, and she just looks at me and says, that's scary. I don't like that kind of music. And so you can't make stuff for everybody. But no, I've been really blessed and be fortunate. So like, when you start out, obviously you're sharing music with your real close, tight group of friends, because you're not sure about sharing it with other people and your family. And then it becomes a point where it's like, well, can I trust how excited only my family and friends are until I start showing it to people? And that's really what it's about as an artist, is you got to step outside of your box and get on more platforms. There's so many ways for you know, people to get out there in music now, especially events like this. I mean, I feel like this is a big exposure for anybody.
So speaking to, you know, independent artists as well as business people working in the music industry, if you can leave them with anything, you know, what would you leave them with?
Or just knowledge-wise?
Yeah.
Tap in with everybody you can, connect, be friendly. That's a big part of it. So, you know, doing the loner thing is will only work for so long. And if you got connections and you got a family member that's an A&R somewhere or has a phone number, then that's a totally different story. But if you're really out here, is tap in with everybody you can, because you're going to learn a lot. I try to take something from every person that's been here. And I think that's really what's growing, a big part of what's growing our brand. So always be learning, no matter how good at your craft you are, to understand that you could be better the next day. And that's really how I try to carry my whole brand.
Well, I appreciate, just hearing, your story and what you're doing as a businessman, as well as an artist. There's a lot of people who start their career and they feel like things aren't going the way they want it to go and they give up. You have a downtime like during COVID that dampers the business, and they're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I got to go get a 9 to 5. But instead of, switching the game up, you continued forward and teamed up with the best people to help your brand. So
and choosing the right people to work with is a big deal. And you can tell that about your company, about 2Hot. You guys jive really well. You bring a presence, everybody's smiling. You can tell that you guys are, you're having fun. So that's important to rub off as a brand and as a company. And, if you're an artist, you are your company, you are the CEO, and your name is the brand and your face is the brand, and every little thing people pay attention to, especially with the the type of media. Everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a camera. So you can, if you carry yourself like you're expecting to be on camera every day, that's part of being an artist too, and carrying that brand, right?
Yes. And I like how you say, as an artist, you are a brand. I don't know if all artists realize that.
And I want to share that, right? Right.
Yeah. Because even like when you guys came to the event, you wearing your brand, you're repping your brand. There's not a lot of people who walk around as artists, and you've seen it in Arizona. Every artist don't come in wearing their brand and repping their brand. And I think that is important. So every room you go in, like when you see me, I'm always rocking 2HotRadio or Princess.
Right. And most of the gold and platinum artists did, and you can kind of see where they separated themselves. So if they're selling more nominations because of their branding, that's something that we want to share with people watching this. Exactly.
Yes.
You are your brand, 100%.
Yes. And that's something that I want all artists to understand. Rep your brand. I see you got your hat, you got your shirt, you got it all.
I got the logo on the back too.
Yes, repping the brand. And that is so important when you have interviews, when you go out to events and stuff. Even if someone don't speak to you, you got your brand on. They may go look it up and be like, well, who is he? Let me go look this up.
This thing, shout out my booking agent, Ashley, for the idea for this. This thing is becoming infamous. It is. People, I'm already getting word, like, when am I going to get my interview in front of that thing? Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely tap in with us on Instagram. We're going to start seeing local artist interviews.
Yes. I applaud everything that you guys are doing. I love that.
You too, Princess. Like really everything you've done to tap in with us, and you're a big part of why our brand is growing. So thank you.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I appreciate you for speaking that. Because everybody don't come back and be like, oh, it was because of y'all that I'm growing a little bit, They're like, oh no, I did this. So it makes us feel good to know that what we're doing is working for other people the way we want it to work for other people as well. We're not one of those companies that just be like, okay, let's take your money and you don't benefit from it. We want everyone to grow just as we're growing as a business as well. So we appreciate people like you who take that time and acknowledge us and give us some props for what we're doing.
Definitely.
Because we're always going to, give our artists props. Vendors, you did such a great job as a vendor, videographer, photographer, all of the things that you guys did, during our Arizona showcase. Your team was walking around like, hey, Princess, you want me to go get this? You want me to do this? They were ready to jump in and do whatever needed to be done.
A lot of preparation for that night. A lot of preparation and training. Yeah.
So, and I love that you guys were on top of stuff.
And what good is a great performance without being able to watch it, right? So that was a huge value to the artist, and we're really looking forward to bringing that on future shows too.
But and speaking of that is something else that's important. So when it comes to, performances and being able to showcase your performance after you had your performance, a lot of artists, and even if, let's say, we didn't have a person like you recording the performances, I feel as, like you said, when you went out to events to perform, you always had a camera there. Someone was always recording.
Got to. Yes.
And if you notice, there's a lot of artists nowadays that don't have someone there recording for them, don't have someone capturing that.
When I started going out, there was 10 to 15 artists to one cameraman. And that's really where it dawned on me. I was like, we need to do this as a business. That's really the business side. Is the music side is time and investment and working with artists and just tapping in and working together. The business side is the cameras.
Yes, yes. Capturing it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants content. Content is important.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, we're actually, we just for arriving at your show, we did a big upgrade on our equipment. So across the board, we're number one, we're all 4K. So content can be Vivo approved if we're doing music videos. So if you guys want to tap in, anybody wants to tap in with us on video work that way. And the new camera I got is Netflix approved. So the video output of it out of the box is good enough for full-blown streaming platforms. So that's something we're really going to bring to the table, is like a whole nother level of quality, right?
Yes, yes. And they look, with content, quality is important as well.
Big time. Big time.
A lot of people don't, that you can't put the blurry video out there and expect everybody to be like, oh, we rocking with it. Like, it has to be visible.
And a blurry beat.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
So I like, again, everything that you guys are doing, of course, I'm going to continue to tap in, you know, with the brand, with Doomtrax, with everything that you guys are doing. But before we end this interview, is there anyone else you want to shout out? Anything else you want to say, you know, to get the word out about?
Shout out my parents and my family for being huge supporters of me. That's really where it all started. My crew. Kid Eskimo and Astro Blitz are my two signed producers. They're also lifelong friends of mine, so they really motivate me to do this thing. My business partner Alex, Ashley, again, you guys for helping us move forward. I mean, yeah, and everybody that and honestly, everybody that's here, all the local artists, everybody in Denver. There's crazy amounts of talent in what we call the box state, and not only is it shaped like a box, but it also boxes artists in terms of getting really out there and getting national and getting their music outside of the place we live in. Denver is one of the most, I think Colorado is one of the more struggling states in that. We're not Atlanta, we're not, Northeast area, right? Where shows are really popping. So we're really looking forward to bringing that to a whole new level for the state.
Look, you're already doing it by traveling from state to state, getting the word out about the business, and not only getting the word out about the business, but also repping your state.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people go to different states and they be like, "Oh, well, my state ain't got nothing going on. I ain't gonna say nothing about it." But you
you got to rep where you at. Look at Tech and all them. They're in the middle of the country, repping St. Louis, Kansas. You got to rep wherever you at.
Yeah. So that is so important. And I appreciate you for taking this time out today to, drop in and answer some questions and go through this interview, because I wanted the people to understand who you were as an artist and what you're doing as a business.
No, and I appreciate it. We appreciate being able to tell the story a little bit, and it's only going to go forward from here. Like I said, March 17th, new single drops, Last Right with S&M Capo, and then my album's coming this summer. So we got a lot of projects coming. So definitely stay tapped in. We got a lot in store for 23.
All right, y'all heard it here today. Make sure y'all stay tapped in, not only with 2HotRadio, but with everything they Doomtrax got going.
Yes, ma'am.